So imagine training the first Saudi female boxer to win gold.
Ah,
Right. Today we hear the story behind that history. For those meeting you the first time, who is Alhim Starks?
Alhim Starks, man. I'm father first to three. I think I'm a loyal friend. I think I am. I'm I can be a difficult disciplinarian when it comes to like rules and stuff like that. When it comes to boxing and that kind of thing, but I like to be on time. Can I curse?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't like any bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like to be straight up.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Sometimes my honesty can be a little much, you know, but I think that sometimes it doesn't mesh well with the culture. You know what I mean? Like, but I feel like I have to be brutally honest with people, and I have to be brutally honest with my athletes, because if I'm not honest with you, then I'm not helping you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if that answered the question.
no, you're good, bro. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah. So now you're into boxing. Not into boxing. You are boxing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like boxing.
Yeah. How did your journey into boxing begin?
Oh man. Actually, I was a troubled kid, and I got into boxing just to stay out of trouble. I didn't really have a big love or passion for boxing, but I was in the streets a lot, fighting a lot, and somebody came to me and said, "Listen, man, you need to get in the gym somewhere and start, doing something productive." So I went to the gyms and started. I was a good street fighter, but I got in a boxing ring and was getting my ass kicked, and then I was like, okay, this is where I need to be. You know what I mean? Because this is a lot I need to learn. You know, I thought I was this great fighter, and I wasn't. I was getting my ass kicked in the ring. But from the '90s, I had a daughter, and then when my daughter was being born, then I was trying to balance work with raising my daughter, and it was just, the hours weren't there to continue in the gym. So I took probably like a 5-year break from boxing, and then my daughter by that time was about to be 6 years old, and she was being bullied at school. And that's when I was like, okay, this is my chance to get back in boxing. So I took my daughter to the park, and we started training in the park, and I started teaching her certain things. And that's where I learned like one thing, females learn boxing very, very fast. She learned it so quick. And
they pick up quite quickly, eh?
She would do one or two things and she would master it. So then I said, okay. So then I started teaching her more and more. So my journey kind of began there with teaching her. And then by the time she was 12, she was a 4-time champion. She won diamond gloves twice, silver gloves, states. So she was doing really well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
wow.
At that point, I was like, okay, this is where I need to be. And then I opened the gym at that point, and then I started to get a lot of athletes coming in. I met some great trainers that actually helped me give more to my students. So I came from a tough town, Plainfield, New Jersey. And actually, Plainfield is like it's a boxing town.
It's a boxing town.
It's a boxing town. So I was fortunate enough to get good upbringing from the coaches there that really helped me.
Yeah. Also the culture, like you said, Plainfield is like a boxing town.
Yeah.
Obviously the culture molded you into become like a good boxer, a father, and a coach.
I mean, I wasn't the best boxer, but I became a great trainer because of the trainers that taught me the fundamentals of boxing and the philosophy behind boxing.
Yeah. So you've trained like 30 plus champions.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in Plainfield, we had a great team that a lot of guys won a lot of champions. I can't take credit for all the guys that won championships there because, like I said, we had a string of great coaches. We had a great philosophy. And I believe every gym needs a philosophy. You know, you can't have 10 heavy bags and everybody punching different ways on different heavy bags because you can't see all the mistakes. So everyone is in line. If we're jabbing for that day, everybody's jabbing. If we're doing 1-2s, everybody's doing 1-2s so that we can correct the mistakes that's being made.
Yeah.
So every gym, I believe, I mean, I don't know every gym does it their way, but I believe it should be a philosophy.
philosophy.
Yeah.
Does it differ from gym to gym? Just
I mean, I believe it could be different from gym to gym. I've been to some gyms where, you know, there might be 30 guys doing 30 different things. And if it's like that, it's hard to see who's making mistakes and who's not. So how can you correct the mistakes?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So and I always say, if you're training the wrong way, you're gonna fight the wrong way.
Oh, yeah.
So you fight the way you train.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sure. What separates a champion from a regular fighter?
Champion from a regular fighter is mindset. Being able to eliminate the distractions. If you know you got to go to bed, go to bed. You know, eliminating the most hardest part is the women and the nightclubs. And, you know what I mean? The bad habits, the drinking, the weed smoking, the drugs, anything like that. You got to eliminate it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. You have to make a lot of sacrifices in order to be great, right?
Yeah.
You know, do you think like talent alone can bring you up there, or
no?
There should be.
I believe you can outwork talent. You know what I mean? Like I've seen some really talented fighters, but I've seen guys that'll be in the gym just working, and that talent alone won't get you there. Like you can be as talented as you want to be. Eventually, the guy that's working is going to catch up to you.
Yeah,
he's going to catch you on that off night.
Yeah, true. And when he like developed those habits.
He's developing the habits.
Yeah.
You got the talent, but guess what? This guy
you're
is
at that
coming.
level, you know, now it's all about habits.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to take you one step forward.
Yeah.
You know this, yeah.
And you could be so talented, but you start to get tired. That's when he's going to edge you.
True. What is the core philosophy behind your coaching style?
I always teach footwork first because you have to have footwork. Footwork, jab, head movement, shooting feints. I don't want to get too deep because it's not a little. But I mean, there's 5 elements that you need, and if you can master those 5 elements, I believe that you can become a world champion.
Does this differ from like you training fighters to become champions, or are you just training like a regular individual? Let's say you want to do boxing to lose weight.
Oh yeah. So I'm not gonna put all of these things on someone that's just coming to lose weight. I have fun fitness classes where they'll just come in and they'll burn calories, but they'll learn self-defense. If they're seriously about learning self-defense, then we'll get more serious. But I try to cater to what the person wants, what the client wants. If he's just like coming in, he's like, I just want to lose some weight. It's funny because I have guys that come in, they say, I just want to lose weight. And then 6 months later, they'll do a tournament and they'll fight. And they'll do like great. And you'll be like, wow. And they'll be like, man, I never thought that I could do this. You know what I mean? So I think it's all about like, you have to build confidence before you tear it down.
Yeah.
I've seen guys that'll go to a boxing gym and the coach will say, throw them in the ring, and they'll get the shit beat out of them. And then, I'm like, damn, that's, what I mean? That's like, that's discouraging. It's like, oh man, why do I want to come back if I feel embarrassed, right?
True.
So I feel like, I would never throw someone in the ring. I'll let them learn the fundamentals, and then we do drills. And then when they feel comfortable enough to get in the ring, then they get in the ring. But it takes, as a coach, it takes patience for that process.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I can understand coaches that have, 20, 30 guys in the gym. It's hard to focus on one person, but I believe that you need to give that individual passion to that individual person. You know what I mean? Even if it's hard, you got to give that individual passion to them.
Yeah. Because I'm asking because I used to do taekwondo also way back when I was like very young. And then it started when I came into the gym and just wanted to sweat. I just came in with my friend, and then a coach told me like, "Oh, you got good legs. You got strong legs. You can kick. Why don't you hop in and join in?" So that sparked me to do it, and I did it for quite some time. I actually won gold back home.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Okay. So I kind of did it there. So this is what I'm asking, because you will determine some athletes or some like individual, and you pull them aside and then tell them like, oh, you got something going on.
Yeah. And it's funny because you can't count anybody out, right? Like I had this kid post something. He posted a post from the 90s. I didn't even remember. And the kid posted this like recently, and it was from the 90s, and he said in the post that he had gained a lot of weight and people were making fun of him and that kind of thing. But when he came to the gym, I didn't see that. What I saw was a kid that, you know, okay, we could work with him. He can do, you know what I mean? I'm looking at what he's good at, what he's not good at. And I think just because I didn't judge, I was more or less looking at how we can help him, how we can get him to where he wants to be. You know what I mean? And I think that is the individual passion that I'm saying, that sometimes you might have a kid that comes in and you're like, oh man, you know what I mean? But sometimes you got to say, you know what? Let me see what this kid can do.
True.
Because those are the ones that wind up becoming the champion, believe it or not. Sometimes it's the one with the big glasses that's crooked in the corner playing with toys that wind up being the champion. You know, and it's funny. But you just have to see the talent and take that individual on to say, you know what, let's see what can happen.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, true. Over 25 years of coaching, like what has changed the most about you?
Oh man. I think nothing has really changed much. I think the passion is still there. I mean, I stick to my core values of fundamentals. I mean, nothing has changed much. I think I just sticking to the same philosophy. I still have the same fire I had 25 years ago. You know, I still get in the gym and curse everybody out. And, you know what I mean? So, it's, you know, I think boxing is just in my soul, man. It's just like, this is something I'll do until I'm like, I can't do it anymore. You know, so nothing's really changed. I've become more patient as far as the culture, because the culture here, when I first came, you know, I would curse people out. And, you know, imagine cursing people out who were like, why is he cursing at me? You know what I mean? But I didn't understand, like, and then I had to like tone it down and learn how to pace back a little bit. And then once they get to know me, then curse them out.
You have to work your way around it, you know, to go.
Because, you know, that Saudis were looking at me like, what's wrong with this guy?
True, man, true. It's a funny story. I used to, not very strict with my classes, but I kind of like, I want to start on time and all this in my fitness classes. And there's one guy who was late. It was late to my class. So I was like, this guy is on his phone still talking, and my class already started 10 minutes ago. And then he came into my class and he was like, coach, can I come in? I was like, no, you cannot. It's already late. And then he just wanted to sweat. He just wanted to have the best hour of his life. And then I kicked him out. I didn't accept him to my class. Not to know that, like, that was a very famous businessman in Saudi. And then clients in my class came to me and I was like, do you know that guy? That's him. I was like, I don't know. I was like, man, he just wanted to have an hour of good time, you know. So yeah,
but you have rules.
You have rules.
And it doesn't matter. And I always tell people when they come, I said, listen, I don't care if you're a prince, if you're this, if you're that. Gotta follow the rules.
True.
You know what I mean? And you know, he has to respect your time.
True.
You know, and I mean, I understand he may be a businessman, he may be a prince, he may be, but you have to respect our time, just like we respect your time. We're there on time for you. So I mean, you know, you didn't do anything wrong in my eyes, but you know, I mean, I guess in the business world here,
he's like,
So,
but anyways, long story short, I talked to him. I explained to him why I kicked him out, because I think for them it's not ingrained in their culture. You know, this is the thing. I have to communicate to him why I did that. Because if I didn't communicate to him, then probably we won't be talking to each other. But he's a cool guy. He understood and everything. And then the next days he didn't come in late. So, but I have to really communicate to him why the reason why I'm doing this and all that.
And that's always good, you know, to give that communication breakdown. You know.
What's something people misunderstand about like boxing coaches?
How hard our job is. You know, I'll have a fighter who, I might have a female fighter who I can yell at and curse her out, but then I may have a female fighter who's very sensitive. So I'll have to talk to her in a totally different way. So I think this is more of like the psychology of it, more or less. You can't talk to everybody the same way. Some people are motivated differently than other people. But once you get that motivation, then you can pretty much mold it, you know, how you want it. But That's one of the things is very important is learning how to talk to individual fighters. You know what I mean? Like I had a coach that, he would slap everybody.
Oh,
Like if
fuck.
you in pow, I mean, that worked for him, what I mean? But that would work in the States, but that won't work here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like here it's like you got to learn. I have to know you. I have to know everything about you. If we're in a tournament, if we're in a professional event, I need to know what's going on in your personal life. If you're having problems with your wife, if you lost your dog, if you know what I mean. I need to know all of these things because now that's how I know how to talk to you and how to deal with you. You know what I mean? So that's the most important thing is the psychology of it.
Is there a very big gap between the culture in the US and the culture here in Saudi in terms of boxing?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There is a hunger in the US that you don't feel here because here it's a more I want to say it's in a nice way. It's a more softer environment. You know what I mean? Like, the guys go home, go home to their families. They, you know what I mean? They have their meals. Some of them have nannies and maids and, you know what I mean? There in the US, you got guys that can barely eat. That you have guys that are, jogging to the gym because they don't have money to take a cab and that kind of thing. That's a different hunger. That hunger is like, you know what I mean? Like that's a passion where if I know a guy doesn't have good shoes and he doesn't have a meal every day, but he's in the gym, I know he really wants it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to hear, you know what I mean, you might not see that because it's a different culture. You know what I mean? But you do have guys here that do have passion, But like I said, in the States also is different weather. So it could be snowing out. The guys are out running in the snow. The guys are running in the rain. The guys are, you know what I mean? So it's a different, here the weather's always, it might be a little too hot. I make them guys run anyway in the fucking heat. I make them run. But I mean, there, it may not get that hot, but still they got to run no matter what, So that's the difference in the passion.
Yeah, you have to dig deep into it, right?
Yeah.
Like our Filipino fighter, Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Came from nothing.
Man, they said this guy was fighting in the alleys for just to feed his family.
Yeah, he came from nothing.
Yeah.
I think he was practicing from banana trunks.
And he's a phenomenal person.
Yeah.
I mean, to come from that kind of adversity and still be a phenomenal person and deal with adversity like he did. I mean,
do you know him?
I don't. I followed. I became a fan because I followed his story. Honestly, I love this boxing, but I became more of a fan of him as a person. You know what I mean? Like the things he's done has been amazing.
Oh yeah, back
for his
home,
people.
he's helped a lot of people.
Yeah.
Basically came from nothing, made it.
Yeah.
And still until now, he's still helping a lot of people.
Yeah.
Which is very good. Very humble guy. I think he would, like, if you meet him on the street, he would say hi to you. You know, he would stop his way.
He seems like that kind of guy. Come jog with me and my dog.
Yeah,
yeah, he seems like that kind of guy.
Yeah. You've worked with under Harold C. Knight.
Oh, Harold Knight.
Yeah. The legendary, like, Emanuel Steward camp. What was the experience?
Well, I didn't work in the Emanuel Steward camp, but Harold Knight was a prominent trainer at our gym. So I was able to learn a lot from Harold. Not only Harold, we like I said, Plainfield was a boxing rich place.
Yeah.
We had Tracy Spann. Tracy Spann was a left-handed fighter. He was a world champion, I believe, in 89 or 80. No, Harold was a world champion 89. He was world champion like 1990, something like that. We had another guy, Gene Woodard, great trainer, great fighter. Hanif Knight, which was Harold's brother. So I had a phenomenal coaching staff, and Harold taught me a lot. Tracy taught me how to train fighters, left-handed fighters. Harold taught me ins and outs of boxing, you know what I mean? How to wrap hands and how to do all these different things that need to be done for fighters to keep them safe. So I learned a lot from these guys. And, a legendary Emanuel Steward, he trained under a legendary Emanuel Steward.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, what is it like during a boxing night game? What is it like behind the scenes?
Oof. For me, it's kind of nerve-wracking because there's so many things that, as a cornerman, you can't forget. You know what I mean? Like, and it depends on the corner. So some corners, they have money, right? So some corners may have a cut man, they may have, a corner man, and they may have a team. Some corners don't. Some corners may have one man. You know what I mean?
Sorry to cut you off. What does the team compose of?
So it could be a cut man. It could be a guy that's just in there giving information like this. The head trainer is giving information. So you may be the second man. You may have a third man sometimes. But for the most part, you need a cut man and that kind of thing. So sometimes I want to be in cut man and giving information at the same time. There's been times when I've been in the corner by myself. So, if you're with a fighter and this is the stressful part is, you're concerned for their safety. You want to make sure they get home safely to their family. And then, it's the stuff that happens during the fight. You want to make sure that the fighter's eyes aren't swelling. And so if you're in there and you're by yourself, you got to make sure the guy's eyes aren't swelling. You got to put Vaseline on his face. You got 1 minute to do everything, give him the information that he needs. You know what I mean? So it can be stressful. Yeah. I never sleep well before, like, especially pro events, because I'm always concerned for the fighter's well-being. I don't know if that's, if that's normal for trainers, but for me it is, because my number one priority is to get them home safe. You know, whether win or lose, get them home safe. So that's it.
Man, it's nerve-wracking when you're in this kind of situation.
Yeah.
Like when I was doing Taekwondo, I didn't even know what I'm doing on the mat itself. It's before that, like, not that I don't know what I'm doing. Of course, I know what I'm doing, but when you're on that, like, reactions are it's also with boxing probably. Most likely. It's all about reaction, right?
Yeah. So, and this is what you gotta, not only just sparring, but reaction timing is one of the most important. Timing is everything in boxing. Timing and rhythm are two of the most important things in boxing. And it's like, sometimes, like, you can go out and you're not even there mentally. You're just fighting. You're just going off reaction sometimes, especially if you're tired or you're hurt. You're just going off reaction.
True.
So those reaction drills, that stuff is, the timing drills is important.
Yeah. Like, you're speaking about rhythm, like, how does it feel like when you're, like, in rhythm? Like, do you anticipate punches, or, like, do you anticipate how you're gonna move around your opponent and all this?
Well, I always teach my fighters to take the other fighter's rhythm by using feints. And feints are just a little jerk to get the reaction. And when you're doing that little jerk, you want to do this little jerk to see what the fighter is responding to, what your opponent is responding to. So if he's feigning and he's dropping and he's doing this, now you know he's open for a right hand. Or if he's raising his guard as you feint and he's raising his guard, now you know his body's open. So I always teach my fighters to read off the feints, and that's where your combination starts. You know what I mean? If the arms are raising, then you attack the body to open the head. So, there's a philosophy to, like I said, there's a philosophy to boxing, whereas you're not just in there throwing punches. You have to teach your fighter what to react off and what the other fighter, the opponent, is giving you.
Yeah. Man, you're making me interested in boxing right now.
But you're an athlete, so
honestly, I've done, like, boxing, just only, like, punching combinations, but never done, like, what you've been saying, like, reaction and all this. Man, this makes me more interested.
Come down see us sometime, man.
I would love to. One time.
Anytime, bro. You're always invited, man.
Talk to us about training athletes like Rolly Lambert, Tamur Khan, and Junior Messi.
Rolly Lambert, man, is a machine. Junior Messi is a machine. Tamur these guys are, they work their ass off, man. Tamur is actually about to fight in Bangkok for WBC.
Oh, wow.
Rolly just fought on a big card about 3 weeks ago. Unfortunately, he lost a close decision, but he fought a great fight. And Junior Messi was injured recently, but he's coming back soon. But these guys, man, I mean, these guys are a coach's dream, because they're going to do the physical part. You know what I mean? They make your job easy because all you got to do is give them the information. I mean, just guys are just, Rolly, I mean, this guy's a monster, man. Just seeing him train. Junior Messi trains year round. He's so fucking dedicated, man. This dude, he eats, sleep, shits boxing, bro. All three of them. All three of them.
Yeah.
I mean, just amazing guys too. On
Yeah.
top of that, they're amazing personalities, amazing human beings.
Wow. What's the most intense or memorable fight you've cornered?
The most memorable, I would say, Rolly Lambert, actually, the guy you just mentioned, because he was fighting for a title, and we were in Dubai, and everything was stacked against him. The guy, I mean, I went to check because there's a glove checking before official glove checking. I went to check the guy's gloves, his opponent. There was no padding in the gloves.
His opponent?
His opponent. There was no padding in the gloves. So we had to go all the way back to the company to make sure that we had the correct gloves for this guy.
For his opponent, you mean?
His opponent. His opponent was from China. And when we got in, I remember when we came in the ring, everybody in the audience was from China. I was like, shit, we're in Dubai. So everybody was from China. So then I said, shit. I said, this is he's gonna have to knock this guy out because he's not gonna win the decision. And honestly, the feints are one of the things that really helped Rolly because the guy was a lot bigger than him, but he was a little slow. So the feints would really save Rolly in that fight, in my opinion. He fought a great fight. Unfortunately, they gave the decision to him, to the other guy, the opponent.
To the other guy, okay.
Yeah, and then as soon as they did that, I mean, it was set up for the guy. I probably shouldn't be saying this, but it was. And as soon as they announced he won the fight, then all this confetti blew in the air, and I was like, okay,
already.
Yeah. But I mean, that was because of how I knew everything was stacked against him. That was a stressful fight for me.
Yeah, in those situations where already the outcome, like whether it's rigged or not, whatever. Like tell me those experiences. Do you have like this kind of politics? A lot of this in boxing.
There's a lot of politics in boxing, yeah, and it's set for the guy who has the best backing, financial backing, this kind of stuff. Of course, it's set up for him, to win most of the times. Yeah. But I mean, this is what it is. This is why you got to get in there and work your ass off, and you got to remember that your life is on the line when you go in that ring. You know what I mean? And this is why I commend those guys for working so hard, is because they know their life is on the line when they get in this ring. And the thing for me is, even if you lose, as long as you get out safe. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I feel one thing that would, in my career as a boxing coach, is if a guy gets severely injured and I feel responsible, I think that would be it for me. I think that would be early retirement for me, because I wouldn't be able to deal with that, because I think about his family. I think about his life after boxing, and this is the thing that, sometimes, I can be a dick sometimes, because, I'll come to the gym and I'll say, okay, guys, wear your headgears, wear this, wear that. And everybody's like, oh God, why we got to wear all of this stuff? But then I tell them, because some people say, oh man, you're wearing headgears, and they're laughing at you because you're wearing protective gear. Now, if you think about it, right? Canelo Alvarez, he's in camp wearing headgear when he's sparring, right? Manny Pacquiao's wearing a headgear when he's sparring. Floyd Mayweather, they got wearing headgear because they understand the sport. Yeah. They understand that, okay, number one, they're about to fight for millions of dollars. If he gets a cut, that payday is off, right? You just go through a 6 or 8 week training camp, you get a cut because you're trying to be tough without a headgear, and now you can't fight. Now you just blew your payday. And it's the same thing now for the amateur athletes here in Saudi, because they're fighting for money. You know what I mean? So look, if you're going to fight for money, wear your headgear, be protected. You know what I mean? It's not about being tough. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, leave the ego at the door. True. It's about being safe. Yeah. And it's not, okay, you're going to get hit. Yeah. But you get cut. That's it. Yeah. You break your hand, that's your career, maybe. True. So this is why it's like, safety is first for me.
Man, Pacquiao, man, like this guy. Funny story is, I might mention it later in the podcast, but whenever Pacquiao has a fight back home, zero crime.
Really?
Back in the Philippines. Because I think I just like saw like maybe like 4 or 5 fights of Pacquiao.
Mhm.
I mean, on the later part, I already like bought tickets to the movie house because they would screen it on the movie house for
Mhm, mhm.
everyone to view pay-per-view and all this. Uh, but zero crime. There's no traffic. Maybe you'll see 5 cars on the road.
Wow. You
That's
see,
crazy.
and when someone can bring a country together,
Yeah,
that's serious, bro.
man.
That's
This
serious.
guy like I don't understand boxing that much,
Mhm.
but when I see him fight, I get hyped.
You know, he reminds me of Muhammad Ali, and
Mm,
in that in a sense where when Muhammad Ali, everybody would stop everything and watch Muhammad Ali because the people felt he was fighting for them. You know what I mean? And
okay,
this is what
yeah.
I feel like for Pacquiao. The people, I don't know the Philippines well,
Mm,
but I can imagine that, you know, people seeing a guy that comes from nothing feel like this guy is fighting for us,
yeah.
which he is.
He is, yeah.
You know what I
Actually,
mean?
he is,
Because he's
yeah.
going to come and he's going to give back to his country.
True.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Muhammad Ali was a legend because he would come and give back to his country, give back to his
Mm,
people. So I mean, I think that's big right there, man,
yeah.
and that
Where's
says a
Muhammad
lot.
Ali come? Where's Muhammad Ali from?
I believe he was from Kentucky.
Okay.
I believe Kentucky or Kansas, Kentucky, I think.
Mm,
But yeah, he and that those kind of fighters come around once in a generation, bro. Like once in a
yeah.
lifetime, you know. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, like Mayweather could have been that, but I yeah, I don't want to say anything bad about him. I might meet him one day, but I think that he doesn't have that in him. He's more about himself than,
Mm,
you know.
yeah. Yeah. I get what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there someone like that right now besides Mayweather? Kind of like.
There's a guy, Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford
Mm,
is a guy from Omaha, Nebraska, who always gives back to his people, always giving back, um, does a lot. And you know, and let me say this: Mayweather does, from what I have heard, he does give certain things and certain, you know, what I mean, so I don't know
mm,
exactly what he does, but I've heard he has given back certain things. But you know, what I mean, to for a guy like like Muhammad Ali and Pacquiao, Terrence Crawford is a guy that I hear that he does a lot for his community. He has a boxing gym for kids, for local
wow.
kids, local troubled kids.
Yeah.
So these kind of things, you know.
Yeah. Like how big, sorry to ask this,
No,
but how big could like a professional boxer get earn
uh, well, I mean, you see now, like Canelo just got what 200 million for
for
Crawford
one
fight
fight?
for one fight. Yeah, he had
Wow.
like a maybe 5 fight deal for like 300 million, but then
Mm.
he just fought Crawford and got 200 million in one fight. That's
Oof.
crazy.
And you get to fight like 2 times a year or
Yeah, yeah. I
two
mean, you can
times,
fight
yeah.
as you know, as long as you don't have concussions or something like
Mm.
that. But yeah, you can fight 2, 3 times a year.
Wow.
But I mean, 200 million, man. I mean, I think I might be done for a few years. But
Well, but I think for some guys it's not about the money, yeah.
no, I think it's legacy.
It's
Some
legacy,
guys get
yeah.
wrapped in legacy. I think now Crawford is one of those guys that's wrapped in legacy because
Mm.
the guy's got properties, he's got all this stuff. He doesn't need to fight. You know,
Yeah.
it's about legacy now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what is it about legacy?
I think it's just something that's in you. It's just passion. It's just passion for what you're doing. And it's like, you know what? I think I can do more. If you
Mm.
still got that fire, you know what I mean? It's like, I
Yeah.
can do more.
Yeah. Would there be a time like for example, like before there was a talks with Pacquiao when he won like 8 titles. I didn't know what was that exactly, but I
Mhm.
think he won like eight
Yeah, he
division
won like 8
something.
divisions, something
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
And then at one point I think when he was like 36, something like this.
Hmm.
Like a lot of people, a lot of talks back in the Philippines that oh he should retire already, just not to taint the record that he already had.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I mean, I mean, it depends on the individual. You know, like if I was his coach, I'd be like, hey man, you know, you can hang it up, but you know, he still has that passion.
Yeah.
He still wants to go, you know. At some point you have to stop,
Yeah.
you know. Like the Bernard Hopkins, and I don't know if you know Bernard Hopkins, but
Mm.
Bernard Hopkins fought and won the world title at 50. You know what I
At
mean? At
50.
50, yeah.
Oh
I
wow.
think he's the oldest world champion to date. I believe he's the oldest guy to win world champion. But this guy had passion, man. And his story was interesting because he came up in jail and he never had an amateur career. And he was boxing in jail. He come out of jail. I think he lost his first professional fight. Then became like a 3 or 4 weight class world champion. So, you know what I mean? If you got the passion, you know.
Yeah. I think Pacquiao has an upcoming fight.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. I forgot who he's fighting. I think it's Rolly Ramondo or something like that. Rolly something. But he's got and I think he can win this fight.
Really?
Yeah. And the kid he's fighting is tough.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. But his last fight was good. He fought Barrios.
Yeah.
And he fought a tough fight. Did he win that fight? I can't remember. I think it was a draw. No, I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it's a draw. Yeah, I think it's a draw. I remember. Yeah,
something like that. But it was a tough fight. It was a good fight though, and he still can fight, man. So,
yeah. What do you think? Like at that age, you know, at almost like a retirement age for athletes, right? 46, 45. Pacquiao is like something.
You know what, man? You start declining as a fighter by the age of 28, 29. You're declining. You know, that's where it's important now to make sure you're going to bed at night, and you got to do everything right. Diet have to be right. Everything has to be right. You have to have no distractions because you start declining literally 28, 29, especially if you've had an extensive amateur career. If you have over 200 fights, which a lot of amateurs from the States and UK, they have 200, 300 amateur fights. That is a lot of your career right there.
Yeah.
So you figure another 10 years in pros, and if you accumulate 20 fights in those, 10 years, I mean, you're declining, man. You know what I mean? Like some fighters, they take off, man. They can keep going. You know, even Crawford. Crawford is 37 or 38, and he's still going. So I mean, if you got the passion, you know.
Yeah, I think with the passion is gonna drive you a bit more.
Yeah.
A bit more day by day. You just take it day by day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, crazy. 200 fights as an amateur, you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it take that much to be an amateur in order to become pro?
Well, it doesn't take that much, but I mean, you could turn pro without having an amateur fight. But if you want to get those solid fundamentals, boxing IQ, I say you need to have at least 150 fights, something like that.
Yeah.
You know? But they accumulate fights very fast in the US, I know, because they fight every weekend. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's fights every weekend there. And the tournaments, you might have, you know, like here, you might have, 100, 200 people in the tournament. There, you might have 1,000 people in the tournament. And then those people that you're going to be fighting are all going to be national this, national that, regional this, regional, you know what I mean? So those fights are very difficult.
Yeah.
So that's why it's very hard here to get a national champion, because it's limited here as far as like the amateur fighting. Like, it's so spaced apart. If we get 3 tournaments or 4 tournaments a year, then that's what they have. But they should probably implement more tournaments so that they can build the level of the athletes
in Saudi.
Yeah.
What brought you to Saudi Arabia?
Oh, my ex-wife. I was married and to a Saudi woman, and she brought me to Saudi, and I was like, what am I going to do here? You know what I mean? Because at the time there was really not much boxing going on, so I had to kind of figure that out. But yeah, and then I found the Boxing Federation.
Okay,
and then started working from there.
Nice, man. Yeah. You trained the first female boxer to win gold internationally.
Yeah. So I worked with, I had a team of girls. Christine Ritter. I'm sorry, I'm messing her name up. My daughter, Salma. I can't pronounce her last name. There was another young lady, Sarah. And I can't say their last names because Sarah Al-Sharani, and then there was another girl. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I can't think of her name. But these 3 girls won gold medals in Kuwait.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Was it then like an international?
It was a national fight. Yeah, we went
to
fight in a Kuwait tournament.
Yeah,
they did really.
How was that moment?
That was a great moment. You know what I mean? Because I remember that was the first girls team most of these girls knew nothing about boxing.
Mm.
Christine was from Germany. She understood, and she was a fighter from before. But none of them really knew much about boxing. So to see them come and achieve like that was really great. Especially Salma. Salma was like, she was like super Saudi, bro. Like she had no
Oh,
idea about boxing. She was just a butterfly, you know what I mean? Turned into a dragon, you know what I mean? Like she really like, she really impressed me.
yeah. How was that training someone who's have no clue of boxing, what boxing is, and then first of all, how did she came across boxing?
Well, Salma actually was getting bullied,
Okay.
and she, you know, I don't want to tell her story, but she had a situation where she was getting bullied, so she started
Mm.
coming to the gym and she started training, and she was the nicest girl. Like I was like, who the hell will bully this girl? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And she's actually one of those people I was talking about where the mindset. She was a person I couldn't yell at. Because if I yelled at her when she first came, she would have broke down in tears. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I had to talk to her like, Selma, you can do it. You can do it. You know what I mean? And then eventually, as she got to know me, she
Yeah.
became like a daughter to me. You know what I mean? So I would be like,
yeah.
bitch, get your ass in there and do this. You know what I mean? So it was like, you know, but I mean, that was in time, over time. But it was a funny time too, because I remember training females and people kept telling me, "Oh, you're not supposed to be working with females at this time."
Mm.
Like at time, it was like 4 years ago,
Mm.
and it was like, you're not supposed to be doing this. You know what I mean? So I was like, do it anyway. You
Yeah.
know? But we would pull the shades down, lock the gym doors, and the girls would train like that.
Oh,
So that was
nice.
how we had to do it. Yeah.
Mm.
So it was cool.
Man. And then when she became like a boxer,
Man, she won in Saudi. She became #1 in Saudi.
okay.
Never would have thought that she would have became #1 in Saudi. But this is what I'm saying. These are those individual stories that, you know, when you see someone, you can't write them off because, you know what I mean? Like thinking, oh, you know what, she ain't never gonna be nothing. No, you gotta see. You
Yeah.
gotta see. It's up to you as the coach to build that confidence and let her know she can do it.
Mm.
And that was like for me was just the amazing moment to see her getting her
Unfold
hand
into
raised. Yeah.
like a really good boxer. Is she
Yeah.
still boxing
Yeah,
right
and you know what? She still comes to the gym. She still trains. She doesn't box competitively
Yeah.
anymore, but she still comes and trains and stuff.
now? Oh wow,
Yeah.
nice. Nice. Would you want her to become one of your trainers?
She could.
She
Yeah,
could.
she definitely could because she knows a lot.
Mm.
Yeah, she knows a lot. And you know, seeing her now, like her transformation from back then to now, like she's like super confident, looks like a model. You know what I mean? And she walks with confidence. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
like, man, boxing did that for her. You know?
Yeah,
So,
true. Have you heard like talks behind her, like in her community, like, oh, this is someone that's like, totally
Not-
different now?
Not really. I just see the Instagram stories.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And seeing how the Instagram stories are and seeing her confidence. And then, you know, this is where I get my
Yeah.
information from. is,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm like, wow, look at my daughter.
Yeah.
You know.
proud dad.
Yeah, proud dad. You know.
How do you see the future of boxing in Saudi Arabia, especially for women, the youth?
I think Saudi has such a great future. Especially if it's invested in the right way. And like I said, this goes back to what I was saying about fundamentals. But I think there should be a gym that they invest in for all athletes, not just certain clubs and certain, because if all the athletes were able to work together in a community, they can build each other and make each other better.
Yeah.
But if you separate all the clubs individually, then they don't really work with each other like that. Everybody's on their own individual mission. In the States, this is how we are. We all work together to build the athletes like this. And I think it's hurting the athletes here, and it's slowing us down from having a national champion because they're not working together. I think that all the gyms should work together, and they should make a coaching system, one coaching system. If they make one coaching system and keep one philosophy, you'll see a national champion. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Is there like a lot of clubs now in Saudi?
There's a lot of clubs.
Have you seen it evolve over the past 4 years?
Yes, yeah. There's many clubs now. I mean, I don't even know the name of half of them, but there's a lot of clubs. But there's a lot of talented athletes.
Yeah.
You know, and I say this to say, if you keep one super talented athlete in the club and he's the best guy in the club, it's gonna be hard to make him evolve because he's not getting tested.
Yes.
And that's why you need to have sparring nights where these guys are tested and they get better and better and better. They build their boxing IQ. And this is the philosophy of boxing. And it's not coming from me. This is just how it's done.
This is just proven already.
This is just how it's done, you know?
Yeah. What surprised you the most about like Saudi boxing, Saudi fitness culture?
How fast it evolved. It evolved very fast. It evolved so fast that the fundamentals that I'm talking about have been kind of left out. And, you know what I mean? Like, you can go in and you can win fights just throwing punches, but you need to have information, IQ. IQ is so important. You know what I mean? Like, the fighters can develop good reaction time, fast hands, strong punches. They can develop that, but if they have the philosophy and the IQ, now that's how you'll see the boxers raise their level.
Yeah. Most of your trainees now are like the youth. What age bracket?
I have little kids I have a 6-year-old man who's really tough. Wow. But I have kids from 6 years old all the way up to 25. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
6 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more like playtime, and then
this kid,
do they absorb also that?
Yeah, he keeps up with the 8, 9, and 10-year-olds.
Oh wow.
I mean, this kid has a lot of energy, you know, and I see the development. This kid can be something, man. Yeah. And as long as his mom keeps him going, man.
Yeah.
You know, and he loves it. So, you know.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But I think that's the hard part is finding, like, I don't like to force boxing on kids. You know what I mean? If I get a kid that this is not really into it, I'll just give him some fitness stuff and, you know.
Okay.
But if I see a kid that's really into it and really loving it, then I'll give them that extra, you know what I mean? The kids that are doing the fitness, I try to let them come around and see if this is what they really want to do. You know what I mean? I don't want to force it on them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like, why is youth development such an important part of like your mission here in Saudi?
Because the youth, which I call the grassroots, is the foundation of what's going to be for the future.
Yeah.
The guys now, they've kind of had their time. That's in their late 20s and that kind of thing. And it's hard to change what they're already doing. You know what I mean? If they've been doing something for 5 to 10 years, it's going to be hard to break them out of that. But the youth are the ones that are going to be able to do what I'm saying as far as the philosophy and learn from the grassroots of how foundation of boxing is. And that's where the focus should be. The focus should be on the kids between the ages of 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
And they should build more youth tournaments for those kids. Those kids should be fighting every 2 to 3 weeks. Because that's where you're going to really see the growth in Saudi boxing.
Yeah. Well, do you notice like kids who are training with you or into like combat sports have more self-control?
Yeah. More discipline, more self-control, more confidence, you know. And I think that's why boxing is important for the youth also, is because it's going to instill that discipline when they're in school, even at home. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I have parents that'll bring their kid to me and, you know, they'll tell me, oh, discipline them. And I'll be like, well, he's only with me for 3 times out of the week or 4 times out of the week. So there's only so much I can do. But the discipline has to come, number one, from home.
Yeah. And
then I instill discipline there. And then that works together, you know. Yeah. So that's the most important thing.
You trained almost 100 young athletes in Real Madrid. What challenges do young athletes face today?
Young athletes now, mindset. And we're talking young athletes here in Saudi?
Yeah.
Mindset.
Yeah,
because, you know, like I said, those athletes are different because, you know, if they have somebody packing their lunch and packing their bag and, you know, they're, you know, excuse me for saying this, but, you know, they're like telling their driver what to do and telling their nanny and maid what to do. That mindset has to change, because now when they come to practice, sometimes they think they can talk to me like that. And I said, no, can't talk to me like that. And so if you think you can talk to me like, you got to go. You know what I mean? So, you know, I don't take no shit, especially from no kid. Like I said, I don't care where you from, who
Where you
your
from,
family
yeah.
is. If you know, you got to respect me. So that was one of the challenges that I did face was the level of respect sometimes. You know, but there's some great kids. You know, not all kids. There's some really great kids.
Would you change that on your training? Their mindset?
The mindset. So it's each one teach one. So when they come into the setting already, they're gonna see a mindset of these guys and these girls working their ass off. So you only got a choice but to fall in line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then nobody wants to look bad. Everybody wants to keep up. So that already starts to enforce the mindset. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can do this. I can keep up with these guys. And if they can, I say, look, okay, just take your time. You'll catch up eventually. You know what I mean?
What does boxing teach kids that they don't learn like in school?
Definitely discipline, self-confidence. Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things that I loved about boxing for my daughter was that it built her confidence in school, like to raise her hand and ask a question. Because I always tell them, listen, there's no stupid question. You know what I mean? You ask the question. That's the only way you're gonna learn.
Yeah. How do you build discipline in athletes who come from like different backgrounds?
Well, some athletes, it depends because you have to have that discipline a little bit already in you. You know what I mean? Like if you can't fall in line with what we're doing, then it might not be for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But for the most part, if you got an athlete that's coming from a harder background versus an athlete not coming from such a hard background, most of the time they'll see that athlete that's coming from the softer background, and then they'll say, you know what, I wanna be like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then that's what kind of sparks that. Or then some of them will say, nah, this is too tough. I don't want this. You know
Is there like a time where the guy who comes from a softer background is more disciplined?
There is.
There is.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I had one kid, and I still train him now. And man, this kid, man, has a great story. He's born here in Saudi. He's from Sudan, and I remember I had 14 guys training, and he would come, and he would be always the first one at practice, waiting for everybody to start. And he would get his ass kicked by all 14 guys, man. I mean, I felt so bad for the kid. He was the smallest kid. And then I said to him one day, I said, why did you keep coming? And he said, I'm doing this for my family.
Wow.
And I was like, and he said he wants to make money to help his family.
Wow.
And he stayed with me until now. And that was 5 years ago. He stayed with me the whole time until he whooped everybody's ass. All 14 of them guys almost, except one, because one was just too big.
Yeah.
But he wound up whooping everybody's ass that whooped his ass. And I was shocked. And to this day, I tell this story because that was one of the most impressive things I think I've ever seen. Somebody getting their ass whooped for 2 years, nonstop. And
For 2 years.
For 2 years, man, no lie. And then the kid so that told me a lot about this kid. You know what I mean? His mindset, you know what I mean? And he's the nicest kid. You would think that he's not a tough kid. He's not, walking around like that. He's a smart kid. And this is boxing IQ. So he learned how to box in IQ. And that's what saved him, was being smart, learning when to throw the right punches, the timing, offsetting timing, using rhythm, using footwork, using a fast jab, changing things. The kid learned. That's what I said, like, that was impressive. That probably is the most impressive story that I can remember.
Wow. Yeah. That kid is like, has a mental toughness.
Has a mental toughness, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know.
And he actually,
5-year-old.
he just fought in the Arab national tournament they had.
Oh, wow.
Here. And then he got head bunted and it got a fractured nose. I mean, he was losing the fight anyway, but he got head bunted and fractured his nose. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it to the fight because I was in Africa with the pro event. But I mean, back in the gym, the next that Monday, he's back in the gym training.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, shit, you know what I mean? So there's more, you know, and I said, look, don't worry about this year.
Yeah.
Come back next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's more to this kid. You know what I mean? That's what I said. Like that right there, you can't find that, bro.
True, man. Like, what was the conversation like? Like, the moment you come into the gym, you saw him, it's like, you just had a fight last 2 days ago. Why are you here?
Yeah, but you know what? And a lot of it, that the reason why he lost actually was my fault, because I wasn't able to get proper sparring for him. You know what I mean? So, and this is what I was saying, that yeah, you might be the best in the gym, but if you don't have guys to work and help you stay sharp and work on those fundamentals, it's hard when you go into a fight like this, like the Nationals, and then you don't have the proper training. You know what I mean? And that's been an issue for us, is finding the proper sparring, finding the proper level to help him level up. So now at this point, only thing we can do is I have to take him outside so that he can get, you know, tougher sparring.
Yeah. More exposure outside.
More exposure, yeah.
Yeah. In the region, which part of the region is like the GCC, I mean? Which part is a little bit more advanced, like Dubai?
Dubai has some great camps. Because they bring guys in from Russia, from Cameroon. I work with fighters from Cameroon. They got guys, they got professionals, a lot of professionals come there. So they have great camps that's already set up there. So that's why, like, I want to take him to those camps so that he can raise his level. Because I've done this for much as I can do for him here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Here, there's, like, which camps here are like,
I mean, you, like I said, you have great fighters here.
you have,
The problem is that they don't work together. So that's the issue. And if they all work together, it would increase everyone's level.
True.
You know?
True.
But I don't know if I should say this, but there's a lot of, like, there's some coaching egos here, and that kind of prevents, and it holds the fighters back. You know what I mean? I think that if you put your ego first as a coach, it's not good for your fighter. You know what I mean? Like, I want my fighter to get his ass kicked, because now we got somewhere to work. Now I can say, okay, this is what you need to work on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's another way of how fighters advance their level, is by seeing the better fighter or seeing the fighter that gives them problems.
True.
So now you know what to work on.
Yeah.
But if you're just the best fighter in your gym, you don't know what to work on.
True.
You just think that you're the best, and then you go out and you find out, shit, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
What qualities make a great boxing coach?
Number one, I think, is patience. Gotta have patience. You gotta be a student of the game. A coach has to be studying. You have to watch fights. You have to study. As a coach, I'm still learning. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know everything. You know what I mean? Like, I could bring a coach in that I may be more advanced and learn from him. You know what I mean? He may do something I might be like, man, I never thought about that. You know what I'm saying? But humbling yourself to learn as a coach, humbling yourself to ask for help, to say, you know what, I don't know this. Can you teach this to me? You know what I mean? When I go to Dubai, there's a coach, Paul Ware, very, very advanced, very professional coach. And I've seen him do stuff with cuts and different things like that. And I say, hey, Paul, you know, how you do that? You know what I mean? Like, there's no ego there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I would need to learn, because if I'm humble enough to say, you know what, I don't know, that's going to help my fighter.
True.
This is not about my ego. And that's what I said, this is about putting your ego to the side. You know, like, even for me, I'm not the best coach. I think, you know, I know a lot, but I'm not the best coach, because I still need to study. You know what I mean? It's just like computers, right? Computers advance every year. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
What was the toughest challenge you faced, like, in your career as a coach?
As a coach was my divorce. Yeah. My divorce knocked me out. You know what I mean? Because
that was a TKO.
That was a TKO. But just like as a coach, I gave everything to my fighters. I gave everything to my marriage. And when my marriage failed, that destroyed me. It knocked me down. It almost, that was a devastating moment. And the crazy part about it was the kid that I'm telling you about, the one fought all those guys and stuff and still kept coming, stood by my side. That kid.
Wow.
Yeah, that kid, man. That kid stood by my side, and he was like, he was like, Coach, he was like, you ain't got nobody here. He was like, you know,
Yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna be here with you.
Wow.
And that kid kept me focused, and he kept me in line with what my goals were. Because it was like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, we think we're this, you know, but sometimes we need people to remind us. And this kid used to remind me. And sometimes I would fly off the handle and he'd be like, Coach, calm down. You know, like, stay calm, relax. You know, why you?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, damn, I'm getting this from a kid. You know what I mean? Like,
keeping you in check.
Keeping me in check.
Yeah.
Like, and he's done that. And he's done that for me. Even now, he still's like, Coach, you know, you could have did that in a different way. And I'm like, wow, maybe he's right. You know what I mean? So sometimes, man, as a coach, we have to humble ourselves to say we don't know everything.
True.
You know?
True.
But yeah, that was a devastating moment.
Yeah. Oof.
Got deep, right?
Got deep, man. But you know, like even if you play like a tough sport, you know, at some point, you know, that toughness that you take from the sport itself, sometimes you needed it, right?
Yeah.
You have to need it.
Yeah.
Like in difficult moments.
Yeah.
You know, you have to like dig deep and pull that toughness out, you know, like say that, come on, I can do it.
Yeah. And you know, I literally had to think in my mind and revert back to the toughest times in my life. And that was what got me through everything. That's what kept me grounded. And I said to myself, man, I said, I don't know how people deal with like devastating moments like that. Like that was like, I could see how someone could go the opposite way and just, you know, I could see how people can lose their minds and these kind of things. But, you know, I mean, that's it, you know, that's it.
Yeah. I think in your situation, really, those kids helped you.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. Yeah. They did. Salma,
Yeah.
you know, they all were there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I know I've asked you this earlier, but like after 25 years in the game, what still keeps moving you?
I think those kids.
Yeah.
now that we're talking, those kids keep me going, man. You know, they show up, and even if I'm like dead tired, I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's go. Let's get it. You know?
Has your perception like over the years, like being with those kids, changed?
Perception of
like the way you deal with people, the way you perceive things.
Yes, I've become way calmer. I don't know if that's age too, but I've become like less combative. Like when I hear something I don't like, I'll take it and I'll just, you know, think about it. Or now I might say something and then I might come back and say, you know what, I'm sorry, maybe I was a little, you know what I mean? Like, and this is in my personal life, you know what I mean? Like I might say something off the rails that's kind of fucked up, excuse my language, but, and then I'm to the point where I'm like, I'll come back and I'll say, you know what, I think I was wrong with that. You know what I mean? Maybe we, you know, and this comes from Yusuf. This is the kid's name, Yusuf.
Yeah.
And I'll say, you know, I'll think about it and then I'll be like, I think I could have did that a different way.
Could have done it differently, yeah. Sometimes admitting a mistake is quite hard, eh?
It's quite hard, but you know what? That's what becoming a man is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that, you know, I'm 50 years old now and I'm becoming better. You know, I wasn't always like this through my 40s. It was like, oh no, I'm right. You know what I mean? But now I'm at a point now where if I'm wrong, I'm going to come back and say, look, I was wrong. That was, you know, I'm sorry, you know? So.
Yeah. Has also like being also a father has helped you become like a great coach.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my daughter is still on me now, like, Dad, you know, come on. She's telling me what to do now. My 27-year-old.
Yeah.
She's telling me what to do. She's like, you know, Dad, you should try this. Dad, and I'm like, okay. So now everything's video call because, you know, she's in the States and stuff. But, you know, and I listen to her. You know?
Yeah. How was your relationship with like your kids?
Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, my kids, man, my kids are awesome, man. You know, and I mean, you know, since the separation, I don't divorce. Since I don't get to see them regularly, because, you know, I was always that dad, take them to the pool, playground, ball pit, that kind of thing. But, you know, when we do get the chance, like once a month, then, you know, it's awesome, you know.
Yeah. What is that? How often do you see your kids?
Once a month.
Once a month.
Yeah.
How does that day look like?
It's difficult because, you know, it's like I gotta fly into Dubai, I gotta get a hotel.
Oh, they're in Dubai.
Yeah, they're in Dubai.
Okay.
So then I gotta go and, you know, get the kids and then take them to activities, or sometimes we sit in the house and watch Ice Princess and this kind of stuff, you know. But I mean, you know, it's an amazing time because that is the most important thing, is the time. Even if it's 1 month, that time is the most important thing that those kids, you know, fuck the money. It's the time. That time is the most important thing. And if you're not spending time with them, they're gonna forget you. You know what I mean? And instilling those values still. I mean, it might be once a month, but even if you know, I have an amazing nanny, and she is like awesome, man. She makes sure that, you know, I get to talk to the kids on video. You know, if they're acting up, she tells me, and I get to, you know, I have to kind of discipline them over video. But
this is the nanny in Dubai, right?
In Dubai, yeah. Her name is Lean. She is phenomenal. I love this woman. And, you know, if it wasn't for her, she's helping me keep my relationship strong with my children.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, it's so good.
Yeah.
To have someone like that, to connect the bridges between you and your kids, even if you're far away, you're seeing them once a month.
Yeah.
Man, that's amazing.
And I send her a text every other day. She's like, "Sir, everything's good." I tell her, "Stop calling me sir. Call me Coach Lee. Don't call me fucking sir." So, but yeah. But no, she's awesome, man.
Yeah. Being a father, what has taught you as being a father to your athletes?
You are a father to your athletes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They are my kids.
What is your greatest lesson?
My greatest lesson.
So you were already a coach before you became a father, or you were a father before you became a coach?
No, my daughter sparked me being a coach.
Okay.
You know? And so there was one, she had a friend who her name was Dejanay Caldwell.
What?
And Dejanay Caldwell.
Okay.
That was her friend's name. Yeah. And same story. She was being bullied in school, and I remember we were training and she was fighting, and she started getting better and better and better. And I was like, okay. So then, you know, so now, and this was saying, she was inspired by my daughter, and my daughter gave her confidence, you know, and they were friends. So Dejanay wound up fighting. She wound up winning Diamond Glove Championship in the States. And I remember she came running and leaped into my arms. And man, I cried. I cried like a baby, man, because to see this achievement, you know, once again, you know, and this is, I kind of went backwards a little bit, because now when I'm thinking about it, this is the same kind of story as Selma, you know. But the time that you put into these kids, you are like a father to them. You know what I mean? And she didn't, her father was there, but he wasn't really in her life, unfortunately, as much. So when she jumped into my arms and started crying, I said to myself, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is where you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? I knew that from my daughter, but from that young girl, and that was in 1990, no, that was in 2005. And man, that was when I said, this is where I'm supposed to be. And you're like a father to your athletes. I mean, some athletes are very difficult, you know, but if you can build that bond, you know what I mean? The understanding, you got to take the time to understand why they're the way they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the patience. And to answer your question, I think that the patience that I learned from the athletes to understand them is the most important thing. And that's how you become close and you build bonds with them. You know?
Yeah. What do you think? Any thoughts on the rise of boxing as fitness and boxing as a sport?
I think it's great for fitness. I mean, definitely great for burning calories. Great for just self-defense. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe you don't throw the punches right, but if you have to, you know what I mean, you can run, punch and run. You know? But I mean, I think it's great for fitness.
Yeah. So after so many achievements, what does legacy means to you now?
For me, it means nothing. For
Mm.
me, my legacy is through the athletes and their achievements. What they achieve for me is everything. I don't care about like awards, and I don't care about being honored for anything. Like for me, I mean, it's great if I am, but I mean, for me, it's watching the athletes become someone else. You know what I mean? Watching
Yeah.
them become more confident in their life, watching them go on to create businesses, watching them go on to become productive citizens and parents and that kind of thing. That's the greatest achievement for me.
I think because I've trained also a couple guys who made it through like competitions and all this.
Mhm.
Just by seeing them very happy with what they've achieved is something, right?
Yeah.
Now you can't compare it to something like a cash prize or whatever.
No, and they'll never forget you.
Yeah.
They'll never forget you because you were the guiding light that took
Yeah.
them to the next level.
True, man.
And most people can't make it to that next level without someone pushing them or someone telling them, man, you can do it.
Yeah.
Might
not be very technical boxing techniques, but it may be just a simple,
no, it's a seed.
how are you?
You plant the seed in their head.
Yeah.
Just, you know what I mean? And it's not just boxing. It can be anything.
Yeah.
It can be just regular fitness, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So many people that, they gain weight and they feel they'll never lose the weight.
True.
Just to get them to lose 10 pounds, man, that's a big achievement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now they know that they can lose 20 pounds.
Yeah. True. Even not that, even just a simple good morning text, like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Today, let's go for a workout.
Yeah.
Something like this. Yeah.
Because, and that's funny, I do that to my clients. I always text them after so that they don't just think that they're a check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that they know that I really care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I care about you achieving your goal.
Yeah.
That's true, man.
Yeah.
That's true.
Man, what is the dream project or long-term vision do you have or you want to build here in Saudi?
In Saudi,
or not in Saudi, like, let's say generally.
So I have a management company for fighters. So I sign fighters and then I take them outside to turn pro and fight in professional fights and stuff like that. Just that's basically it. Just the fighters that want to turn pro and achieve that goal.
Yeah.
I want to do more events and that kind of thing, whether it's in Saudi or whether it's outside of Saudi. I think Saudi needs a lot more events, pro events in the gray area. And I say the gray area because, you got the big time with Turkey Al Sheikh and those guys, but then you don't have that lower level of professional boxing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you got a lot of professional fighters that come to the fights and they're like, well, how can I fight in Saudi? You know what I mean? But there's no really way for them to kind of get there.
Yeah.
But I would love to open that lane for the gray area for the fighters to be able to come in and, you know what I mean, generate money. Maybe not the money on the level of, those guys, Canelo and all those guys, but just something that they can feed their families and,
Yeah. Or like even, how would you call them? Pro or semi-pro? And what level? Pro. Yeah. Like even pro boxers, not here in Saudis, but you can attract more pro boxers, let's say in the US.
Yeah.
Or in the UK or in Asia, whatever, you know.
The issue is getting here. That's the issue. Some people with the visa problems.
Yeah.
Then some people, like in the US, one of the issues is the guys getting passports because a lot of them get in trouble. So if they get in trouble, if you go to prison, you're not going to be able to get a passport.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an issue.
What message do you want the next generation of fighters to understand?
You got to work on your mindset. You got to change your mindset. You got to have discipline. Stick to the fundamentals of boxing, and just be dedicated. Got to be dedicated. You got to know how to, like I was saying, you got to know how to kick the ladies out. You got to know how to stay away from the bars and the clubs. I mean, if you're in a place where there's bars and clubs, that's it. Go to bed at night. Don't drink tea and coffee all night.
Man, the culture here is kind of different.
Yeah.
It's kind of nocturnal. I would say 70% most of the time.
Yeah, and that's hard because this is a culture that doesn't sleep. So that's
true.
hard.
True.
Yeah.
But like I was actually shocked when I started biking in the morning before. Like how many people are up in the morning?
Yeah,
You would see
now.
a mix of people who's just coming home and people going
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I go running at the Wadi Hanif sometimes, and I'm
Oh,
like,
nice.
yeah, and you see the
Yeah.
people there hanging out the windows, right,
Yeah.
and they're driving through like speeding, and you're like, okay, I know they didn't sleep.
Yeah, probably they're just going
Yeah.
home. All right, man. What's the hardest truth fighters need to hear today, these days?
The truth. If you're fucking up, somebody needs to tell you, hey man, you are not that guy, bro. Like you need to work on this, that, and the other. Whereas some fighters will win a fight and then everybody's telling them they're great, and that's the worst thing you can do for a fighter. Is tell him that he's great. You know what I mean? That's the worst thing you can do. If they're winning the fights, you got to still be like, look, that was good, but you need to work on this, that, and the other, and get back in the gym. Stay in the gym. Don't win a fight and then take off and think you're the greatest thing ever. Get back in the gym. Stay in the gym. That's it. Stay in the gym. Be a gym rat. We call it a gym rat.
Yeah.
And you just stay in there. You keep working and perfecting your craft. That's number one.
Have you had an athlete which it's like just blew up his mind? You have to keep him level.
Yeah.
What was that story about? Yeah.
Oh man, I had an athlete that came to me, and he was an emotional guy, very tough, but emotional. So he had trouble controlling his emotions. So we had to really work on his mindset. We had to work on him staying patient with boxing, sticking to the plan. Because he'll come in and he'll box, but he get hit with a punch and then he just goes wild, because he can't control his emotions. Learning to control your emotions are going to keep you from getting hit too much, because when you get out of control, that's when you get hit with stupid punches. But that was a tough journey. But the kid wound up doing very well. He got with a club now. He's doing great now. He's not with me anymore, but he's with a club. So, I'm wishing him all the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, just teaching him how to control his emotions. If he boxes, and he went on a 7-fight knockout streak. He knocked out like 7 people in a row. And it was because he stayed patient. He stayed calm. You know what I mean? No matter what came at him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's when he was able to get into a club, which I was very happy about. And he's still with that club now. So I'm wishing him the very best.
Yeah. What's the one thing you'd never let your athlete do?
Drink. Smoke. I tell them, if you're going to go out and party, but just don't do anything crazy. You know what I mean? And I had an athlete one time, and man, he was getting ready to go turn pro, and he went to a party, and he knocked the guy out, and he killed the guy.
Oof.
Yeah, and then he wound up going to jail for a few years. But by the time he came out, that ship had sailed, because he was in his 30s by that time. But I mean, these are some of the things that happen. You know what I mean? And you got to remember one thing. Always self-control, because you train to hurt people. This is what you train to do.
Yeah.
And if you hit a person that isn't in that kind of shape, or they could have a health problem or something like that, you can kill them. You know what I mean? Because this is what you're training to do. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's why fighters need to be careful and need to be aware, need to have patience, and just walk away from situations.
Yeah. We're like not here in Saudi, but was there any situation was there any time that you were in a situation where you would wish that you could knock this guy off?
Man, I did have a situation, man. I had a situation where a guy ran me off the road. I was driving, actually coming back from a tournament. I don't know if I should be telling this story, but so I'm coming back from a tournament at the Melez Stadium. I think it's Melez Stadium. And the guy cuts me off. So I get out the car, because, I almost crashed into this wall. So I get out the car and I say, hey man, what's your problem? Then I realized, oh, you're in Saudi Arabia. The guy doesn't speak English. So his friends get out. So it's 3 guys. And so the guy goes to grab me, and then his friend punched me. So
His friend
His
punched
friend
you.
punched me. So then I realized the guys were probably high or drunk or something. I don't know what was going on. And I wound up handling the two guys, and then one guy ran. So cars were pulling up, and then guy was like, "Oh man, get in your car and just go, just get out of here." You know what I mean? I'm like, "Well, no, this is self-defense." He's like, "Bro, you're in Saudi." You know what I mean? So I was like, "Okay." So I jumped in my car and ran because I don't know the laws here. But this was a crazy situation, and I was, I feel safe in Saudi regardless. But I just never expected that. I never expected anything like that.
3 guys jumped you.
Yeah.
In Saudi.
I was shocked. I was totally shocked. I probably shouldn't be telling this story, but I think Saudi is an ultimately safe place.
Oh, it is.
I think that was just an isolated incident. Probably, and maybe those guys had issues. I don't even know if they were Saudi guys. You know what I mean? But yeah, I was like, wow, I was pretty shocked.
Wow.
But since then, I've never had an issue.
Yeah. I think that's a one-off.
Yeah. I think that's just a bad situation.
Yeah.
Because Saudi I love Saudi. Saudi's a safe place. I've never had issues with Saudi walking from one end to the other.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think it's one of the safest places. You live in New Jersey, right? It's like
I don't want to talk about Jersey, man. Man. Every time you put your key in the door, you got to be like looking around, man. Jersey, man.
Nah, here they leave their keys outside.
Yeah. There, man, no, man. You got to be careful everywhere you go over there, man. Even in the rich neighborhood, you got to be careful, man.
Yeah. What's the most powerful lesson that boxing has taught you?
Most powerful lesson. Patience. And I say this again, patience, because boxing is patience. It takes patience to develop people, develop fighters, develop mindset. And the patience is the most important thing. Even when you're like dead tired and you just want to say, you know what? Still, you got to say, you know what? And then you'll see something great will happen. Through that patience, you'll see something great happening. You're like, wow, okay, I'm glad I was patient.
Yeah.
Like you'll see a fighter develop something and you'll be like, man, I didn't think that was going to happen. And then that'll say to you, okay, keep your patience. So that's it.
Patience, man.
Patience is the key to life.
Oh, yeah.
In everything, you know.
Yeah, it's a virtue.
Yeah.
I think that's why it's very popular for that phrase or saying patience is a virtue. Yeah. It didn't come out of nowhere, right? It must have come from a deep meaning, experience, whatever.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So what's next for Alhim Starks?
So I've like I said, I've started my management company and signing fighters. I'll also be having like gloves for sale, t-shirts for sale, and all that kind of stuff. But that's it. Doing some events. I'll be doing investments within events and that kind of thing. Bringing fighters that want to turn pro, professional. I'll be working in Cameroon. I'll be working in Rwanda. I'll be working in Thailand, Dubai. So I'll be working in different areas. So I have a few partners, and it's gonna be good.
Yeah. Where can people find you, train with you, and follow your journey?
Oh, I'm Lee Starks. It's Lee Starks _2239. There it is.
Instagram, right?
Instagram.
That's Instagram.
Yeah. Snapchat. I'm not too good at Snapchat.
Me too. I don't even know how to use it, honestly.
But it's A Starks 704 is my Snapchat.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. If you had one message for every athlete listening out there, what would it be?
Stay in the gym. Be a gym rat. Listen to your coach. Be disciplined. Like I said, always number one is kicking the ladies out. Stay away from the clubs, the bars, and just be patient as a fighter. You got to be patient as a fighter because boxing takes time to develop. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
You don't jump in the ring and just become great. It takes time,
Yeah.
So patience is a virtue.
Patience is a virtue. All right, man. Thank you very much.
Yo, thank you for having me, man.
Yeah.
I love the hat too, man.
I actually forgot I was gonna fix my hair and then we set up everything and then, but yeah, man. If you want to say something.
Oh no, man. Listen, it's honored to be here. I really appreciate you bringing me on.
Yeah.
And hopefully in the future I'll come back.
Man, for sure. We'll have more talks.
Yes, sir.
I think outside boxing and just in general life itself, we have a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely,
yeah,
definitely, man.
definitely. All right, man.
All right,
Thank you very much.
no problem, man.
Thank you,
All right.
man.